Hello, everyone. Hi, Facebook. This is Leah, founder of Urban 20 Something, and I am so excited to be interviewing Sofie von Marricks today. Let me just double check that you all can hear me and see us. Everything looks good. If anyone watching could just confirm that they can hear us, but we are going to get started. So thank you all for tuning in. As you all know, I'm Leah, and I found Sofie months ago. I don't even know if you know this, Sofie, but I found her from her YouTube channel. It is hilarious. I love her way of thinking, her outlook on life, her outlook on working. She's super inspiring. So I highly recommend that you check that out. And Sofie will tell us more about how you guys can get in touch with her. But I'm very excited to interview her. I love hearing her story, and what she's done is so impressive. So I know that she's going to have lots of helpful information. So thank you so much, Sofie.
Thanks so much for having me, Leah. I'm just really excited. And I love hearing that you found me on YouTube because that's like where everything started. So.
Oh, good. Well, good. I want to hear more about that. So I'm just going to read a couple sentences about you for those who might not know you yet, and feel free to chime in whenever you want. But Sofie is a certified life and business coach, branding expert, spiritual influencer, and content creator. And she is the founder of Hot Rich Love Your Life Bitch. She works with extraordinary female entrepreneurs to transform their lives. She creates digital programs to empower women to build online businesses. She leads retreats, and she co-hosts a podcast, and she has her Love Your Life Bitch blog on YouTube, which is where I found her. She has built her empire because she strongly believes in the universal power of women. Just beautiful.
Thank
So
you.
she's done a lot of incredible stuff. So Sofie, my audience, most of the people I work with start either their business around their 9-to-5 job because they want it to be a side hustle, or they want it to become their full-time hustle. So I'd love to hear just a bit about your background. I know you started in a 9-to-5 job, and if you could just tell us a little bit about whatever you started on the side, we'd love that.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I was definitely in a 9-to-5 before. I was doing project management at a market research tech company. So a little bit different from what I do now. But I had that job. I had that job straight out of university. I was there for about 5 years, and the whole entire time I was always trying to get something else off the ground. And I started and stopped so many different businesses, everything from wedding planning to a photography to I was like creating dolls at one point. Like I had so many things, but I did have a few blogs along the way. And I always had the URL for Hot Rich Love Your Life Bitch kind of tucked away. I knew from very early on I wanted to do something with it, but it was almost like it was so close to my heart that I was a little scared. I was like, okay, I'll do it one day. Right. And I did things a bit backwards. I basically got to a point in my job where none of those other businesses had really panned out. Like I kind of go forward and then go, oh, that's not quite it, and just kind of cross it off the list. I'll figure something else out. And then for a while, I was writing down my goals every day. It was something I do. Like I write my goals down twice a day. And one of the things was, be paid for doing something that I loved. And I kind of imagined that I would maybe leave my job officially, even though I had nothing on the go at the time, by the way. I would leave my job officially, maybe in a year or two. I thought like after I got married or something. And then I was kind of asking the universe for a sign, like, when should I quit my job? Or like, how is this going to unfold? Because I just didn't see how it was going to go. Because as you know, 9-to-5, you're like so busy. It takes a lot of time. So it's hard to get something actually started on the side. It can be, or it was for me at the time. And I just kind of was asking for a sign, and I got my sign. I kind of this whole series of events unfolded, and it kind of got to the place where I was like, if I love and respect myself, I can't stay at this job anymore. Like this is just so out of line for me. And there's nothing wrong with the job. It's just like, it was really just getting to the point where I needed to go. Right. So I just kind of quit without a plan, and I just leapt right into things. I had no idea what I was doing, but I just did. Like it wasn't like I left and started Hot Rich Love Your Life Bitch right away. I left and did something that I knew for sure I could do. So I just kind of like freelance graphic design. So I kind of replaced my 9-to-5 job with another full-time job, just kind of doing something that I felt really confident in, because I still didn't feel confident enough to necessarily do Hot Rich Love Your Life Bitch. And then from there, I kind of had to transition again and start Hot Rich Love Your Life Bitch. And that happened how that happened was I basically was trying to do it on my own, and it was really hard. So I ended up getting a coach, and I mean, nothing works like putting your money where your mouth is. So I got things together pretty quickly, and the rest is history. It just kind of took off from there.
Amazing. So much there that I'm sure so many people can relate with. Do you wish that you would have started right when you quit your job or sooner? Or do you feel like you needed that experience graphic designing to get where you are now?
You know, I already had the experience doing graphic design. That's why I could do it. It was something I just knew how to do. I had been doing that since I was like 14 years old. I had Photoshop on my computer. I just loved playing around with it. But yeah, if I could go back, I would just stop questioning myself. I would stop trying to distract myself with all these other things that I thought would be better to make money at, or like I would just do what was really on my heart, because what I really wanted to do is what I'm doing now, like do something that combines like personal development and confidence and working with like younger women. And I just wish I just went ahead and just put one foot in front of the other and started that earlier. Cause yeah, if I did that, I could have had something with more of an audience built, and it would have been really easy to transition. I wish I got the coach, you know, earlier on. I wish I did all of those things, but it's, you know, things happen the way they did. And I don't know. Do I regret it? Maybe I think I do regret not starting earlier. 100%. I really do. Instead, I was kind of like, I knew I had this idea. I was like, oh, it could be this thing like personal development, women, positivity. But I was just like, how do I make money from that? So instead, I just did all these other things. But if I just created the platform doing something that I loved and I was invested in, I was interested in, I would have figured it out. But I just couldn't figure out the pieces in my head at the time. So I just really needed someone to show me the way. And I wish I found someone to show me the way earlier.
I know. I understand. I just had coffee with someone today who's like just getting excited about starting his own business, and he's just so frustrated that he doesn't know how to do all these things. And it's like no one's born knowing how to online market. So, you know, we have to like be really forgiving with ourselves, but I do understand the frustration. So I know that you mentioned you were a little bit not confident in yourself or in your idea yet, and that's sort of what delayed it a little bit. So I've been getting a lot, especially lately, and I know you've probably gotten this kind of thing from people too that are eager to start their own business. They are coming to me a lot lately saying, I don't have the money. And so I'm wondering what your sort of take on that is as an obstacle, if you ever went through stuff like that, and how you can, you know, what advice you can give to people that have an idea or they have a passion, but they're stuck behind not feeling like they have the money to invest in a coach or something like that.
Yeah, I think like for me, something that Tony Robbins always says, if you want to be successful, study success. And that is what I really always did, and I was always doing. One thing I noted about people who are really successful, people who have really successful businesses, is that most of them did not have the money. Like, right. You know, like people who started Airbnb, Dermalogica, like all of these huge, like Spanx, Sarah Blakely, like they didn't have the money, and you just kind of get the ball rolling. And I think, well, when I quit my job, I didn't have like some amazing savings saved up so that I could start my business. And in fact, to be totally honest, anytime I have made a big move in my life and business, I have not had the money. Like, and some people might think that's irresponsible or whatever, but one thing that because it can be scary to make a big investment or something like that. But I think for me, when I knew it was my time, like I knew that I had to do this, there was no question. I didn't have the money, but I wasn't going to let that stop me from making it happen. And I was scared to like make that investment, to have someone, it was more money than I had ever spent on anything besides my university degree. Right. And I was just like, one thing I always go to is this decision for me to invest or me to spend or me to whatever out of love or fear? And I think you can always turn to that. And for me, I was like, okay, for me to make this investment, even though it's really scary, even though I said I wouldn't use my credit card ever again, even though I said I would never go into like consumer debt or whatever, it to me, making that investment was like, I knew it was showing myself that I loved myself. It was showing myself that I believed in myself and believed in my ability to be successful. And I really did deep down believe in that, even though I was really scared and even though I questioned myself. So I just turned to like that for basically any decision. Like, do I want to eat chicken tacos tonight? Do I want to invest in a coach? Do I want to go on a trip? It's like, is it out of love and fear? And sometimes that decision to hire someone is out of fear. And I think, like if you check in with yourself, you can feel into that. And for me, any investment I've made, and I have made investments out of fear, like, and they haven't turned out great, but anything I've made out of love for myself has turned out. And even though it was super scary to spend a bunch of money, like thousands and thousands of dollars that I didn't have, I wish I did it sooner. I wish I did it when I was in my 9-to-5 job. I wish I went and like got a credit card increase back then just to make it happen. And it was kind of the same, like we're all okay with going to university or going to school and doing that. And it's like, oh my God, that's like tens of thousands of dollars to do that. And like, we don't even question, oh yeah, you go get a student loan or you go do this. No one says, oh, I got to wait until I have the money to go to university. Like that's never going to happen. Right. So, like, I think you just got to do what you got to do. And I kind of go with it. Like I have a dream, I have a vision for myself, and I'm not going to let like something like money stop me from making it happen. That said, obviously like make decisions that are smart for you, and you have to believe in yourself. Yeah. Even just an ounce enough that you can do this, and that you're willing to do what it takes to follow through, and you're willing to be relentless and be decisive and just like make it happen. And that's kind of where I was. I was like, I am not willing to not do this. So
yeah. Oh my God. So much good stuff there. I absolutely love that. I love that way of thinking of like asking yourself, is this a decision out of fear or love? And if it's out of love, then the money like will figure itself out. And I know for me, I had such a huge turning point with money because I also was afraid to spend big money on this. I mean, of course, it's a huge step. And I love what you said at the very beginning about being a little nervous to start your business because you had this idea and you loved it so much that you were afraid that it would fail and like what that meant about you. And I totally relate with that. And that is something that always has kept me afraid of investing because I'm like, well, what if I do it and then I've given it my all and it doesn't work out? And so I completely relate to that. But once I realized that, I wasn't actually afraid of spending money because I knew that there's more money out there to be made. We all know that. There's no shortage. I was afraid of my own ability to make it back. And it's like, why don't I think I can do it? Of course I can do that, And so it really is like comes from so much more of a strong sense of self than like our personal finance experts lead us to believe. It really does.
Oh, totally, totally. And I think sometimes something that worked for me with that is like, oh, I don't believe in my ability, or, oh, I think I need to have more schooling or a certification. I just try to find examples of people who are doing more than I'm doing with less. Like they have less certifications, they have less of a following, they have, less of a, like, I just try to, and I'm not saying like less comparison, but I'm just trying to say like, I don't need to be this like perfect thing in order to be successful. Like, so just find examples of people who are doing it every different way. And then eventually you see someone you're like, I can do what she's doing too. This is ridiculous. Like party started. So that's what I try to do. I think that's like a healthy kind of comparison that helps you believe in yourself more.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's such a good way to look at it. And I always kind of crack up when I see on Instagram now that I've now that I have a stronger sense of myself and I've done more personal development work, but when I see people comment on influencers and they're like, you're so lucky you get to travel all the time. It's like, well, you could do that too.
Yeah, you can do it too.
Yeah, like these people aren't like the chosen ones or whatever. So yeah. I think it's a great perspective to come to. Okay, so now you've worked with so many women. You are all about women's empowerment, which is so incredible. And so what's your message to women? Like now having worked with so many, what do you just want to like yell from the mountaintops?
I think what I would want to yell from the mountaintops is like, you can use your business or you without a business, even just yourself, you can reinvent yourself any day of the week. You can literally wake up and be, do, think, act as a different person, like the person that you want to be. When I was doing this business, like it's easy to kind of look back and go, oh, that didn't work out, or oh, that failed, or you haven't had this kind of success, or no one's told you can do this. And you really just have to like think, talk, and act as if you could. And yeah, I think I just want people to know, like, you can totally just choose to totally transform yourself, like kind of give yourself a makeover. And I always kind of think of like, do you remember Cher and Clueless?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Cher and Ty, she did that makeover, and then Ty was just like this totally different person after. And like, you can do that too. Like, we can all do that. And I think that's the main thing. Like, the hardest thing is like doubting yourself. And it is really like an inside game. That's the other thing I want to say. People come, especially for business stuff, they're like, okay, I want like the system. I want you to show me. I want us to make the plan. You can have the most beautiful brand, the perfect website, the photo shoot, everything set up all in a perfect little package. And if you are like thinking negative thoughts about yourself or other people or what it takes to make sales or anything, it's just never going to happen. And I see that all the time. Like, I see all the time people, women, totally sabotage themselves or get really like in a mind rut and can't get themselves out, or choose not to, or choose to stay stuck. And yeah, I just want people to know, like, you can decide to be totally different. You can just decide, or decide to like practice. What would it be like if this was easy? Or what would it be like if I had fun with this? Or what would it be like if I just was totally different today? And you can kind of just practice doing that. And I find that's what I really did. I wasn't necessarily feeling like hot, rich, love your life bitch at the time when I started my business. I was like, oh, I just left my job. I'm working at a linen store. Like, I'm trying to start a business. Like, I don't necessarily feel hot, rich, love your life bitch. I was just like, you know what? I'm going to totally reinvent myself. And this is it. So you can use your business as a way to reinvent yourself. And it's really fun to be able to do that. And I think, like, just reinvent yourself. Let yourself reinvent yourself. Let things be different, because how you got here will not get you there. So you may as well just try to do it totally different anyways.
Right. Yeah, that's such good advice. And yeah, I totally resonate with what you said also about like, you can have everything so perfect. I remember like my first year, I didn't grow that much. I didn't make that much money. And I just remember being like, oh my God, someone just tell me what to do. And it took me a long time to realize, like, I knew what I needed to do. I just needed to have confidence in myself enough to do it. And I was so just like waiting for someone to show me. And that's just not how it works. And so I completely resonate with that. And so whether you want to share from your own story or not, like what if someone is just feeling really stuck, whether it's their 9-to-5 job or whether they've started a business and it's not going well, or they just like really, maybe it's completely different. Your brand is hot, rich, love your life bitch. What if they don't feel hot? What if they aren't happy with their body? Like, what are the first steps what suggestions do you have to reinvent yourself? Where would you start?
Yeah, I think like reinventing yourself is really kind of like a 3-step thing. So I think it's like your outer self, like, yeah, how you feel about your body or your environment or whatever. And then it's like your lifestyle, like the things you do, the people you see, the relationships that you have. And then it's like your inner self. So I always think, like, obviously the inner stuff can be it can be challenging, and it's inside. Like, we don't necessarily have a view of that. But I always say, like, kind of start on the outside. Like, what are the things that you know you could be doing? Like, kind of just take a step back, and it's like, oh, maybe I need to like clean my office. Like, sometimes that can be this like total mood changer that just sets a chain of events forward, and you suddenly have all this different energy. Or sometimes it's like, oh, I really just need to take care. Like, I'm feeling awful. I'm not really able to like give my all in my business. I'm not feeling good physically. It's like, it's just asking yourself, what do I need right now? Right. And yeah, it might be, oh, I need like a new lipstick. I need to go for a run. I need to go meditate. I need to go do a yoga class. I need to get an outside look on my business, because I just don't know what the hell is going on here. And I think one thing I try to do, like when you're in that rut, is literally just sit down, like open your journal and write, like, what do I need right now? What are 5 things I need? Or what are 5 things I want? And I just kind of like go off of that, like a little bit of intuition. And sometimes it's just those little things that really make all the difference. And you might write, I just need time and space. Like, I need rest. And it's like, if you give yourself a day off, suddenly you have all these ideas and motivation. You might see something that inspires you and takes you in a totally different direction in your business, or gives you a marketing idea or something. So I'm just really all about, like you said earlier, like, you knew what you needed the entire time. And I think we all really do know. And sometimes you just have to sit down and ask yourself. And I'm a really big proponent of actually writing it out, because I feel like if it's just swimming around our heads, it's never clear. Like, I have to write so I know what I'm thinking. You know? I don't know what I'm thinking. I need to write it out so I can actually see it clearly. So I think, yeah, sometimes you just like, you do know what you need. And sometimes it might have nothing to do with business or anything. It might, like, it can be go lay out in the sun for 3 hours and give yourself a break. But I just find that has never steered me wrong.
Yeah.
So
it's like giving yourself permission to do what you know you need to do and not listen to other things.
And like, it's safe to trust yourself. Like, we really do have this inner guidance system that tells us like what we're meant to be doing. And if you're feeling bad, don't do the things that make you feel bad. Do more of the things that make you feel good, because that's actually the secret to everything. Do more of that. The things that make you feel bad.
Do that.
Exactly. And I think a lot of us get caught up in like, oh, I should be doing like Facebook Lives, or I should be like posting every day or whatever. I think you just need to do what you like doing and not necessarily what everyone else is doing. So stick to that game plan and you will never go wrong.
Right. Yeah. Because I mean, in your example, like if you do, I've been thinking about this with like exercise too, like but with Facebook Lives, if you do a Facebook Live and you're doing it because you think you should, then it won't be that good. And so then you'll be, further away than where you started. So
exactly.
Okay. So this is all amazing. And now I want to hear what's new with Hot Rich Love Your Life Bitch. What do you have going on? What do you want to share with us? How can people work with you?
Yeah, so actually you've caught me at an interesting time, because a lot of things are changing. I'm rebranding. We've got a new-ish business name, which isn't out yet. I have a new website, and everything's really actually going in the direction of what you and I are talking about right now. Because what I've noticed is that I'm helping women like build businesses. I have my course, Hot Rich Biz Bootcamp, which is like everything you need to start a business. But I work with these amazing women who are so talented, so cool, have so much to give, and they have everything they need to do in order to make the business. But like for a lot of them, that confidence is not there. And that's actually the whole reason I got into all of this. And it's kind of gotten into this biz building thing, but we're going back to the confidence. We're going back to the reinvention. We're going back into showing yourself that you're loving yourself so that you can go and be everything, like go and be the woman that you're really meant to be. Because that's the only thing that stands in our way of doing that. And that stood in my way for so long. And I'm seeing it now. My clients, I'm just seeing really clearly like, okay, there's some other work I need to be doing, and it's stuff I know how to do. So we're going to be relaunching in the next month, all new courses. I've got an amazing course called Hot Rich Reinvention. It's going to be all about everything we've been talking about today, those 3 levels of like self-love and confidence, kind of reinventing your life from the outside, the lifestyle, and like how you see yourself. And I think I'm just really excited for it. So that's going to be happening. And you can still find me at hotrichlove.yourlifebitch.com, and everything's staying the same, but it'll kind of redirect somewhere else soon. So
congratulations. How exciting.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited. And you can find me on YouTube, youtube.com/loveyourlifebitch. We've had a bit of a summer vacation break right now, but we'll be jumping back into everything very soon. And yeah, I've got tons of videos for you to binge watch on there. And you can also find me on Instagram at Love Your Life Bitch. And it's LOVEUR, like LIFEBITCH for all of those. So.
I'll put that in the caption on Facebook. But do you have time? Can I ask you one more question about?
Yeah, definitely.
So I love what you said about how you've worked so much with people building their business. You yourself have built a successful business. How many years has your business been going now?
How many years? It's been, I should know, 2015, 2018. We're 2018, right? Yeah, it was my 3-year anniversary in May.
Oh, congratulations.
I know, it's crazy.
Wow, oh my gosh, so much can change so quickly.
So much can change so quickly. It's wild.
Yeah. Oh, I'm really happy for you. I hope it's been a great ride. And so now that you've built your own business, you've seen other people's businesses, and now you're rebranding around this deep work of finding confidence and then keeping it, because that's another element, right? Like you can get the confidence to start your business, but then you kind of have to work with it every time you up level or hire a new coach or spend money. So Do you have any daily rituals or ways that you yourself keep your vibration high and keep believing in yourself?
Oh my gosh, totally. So many rituals. You know, every day I really I start my day in a way that feels really good. I do all of the things I love to. I love to get up early. My husband and I go for a walk and we talk about all the things we're grateful for. We talk about the future and all the plans that we have and things we're going to do. And we try to talk like as if they're happening. Like we'll talk about like going to our lake house and and we'll talk about like flying first class and private jets and
they are happening
things. Yeah, totally. And we just talk, like we kind of play make believe, and it kind of be a bit silly, but it's actually really crazy some of the things that happen as a result of that. But we just hang out, like we get playful and have fun. I mean, for me, it's really important for my confidence and mood to like do some kind of physical movement every day. So there's that. I think like nutrition is really important. And I know like these are all like things that aren't really related to business, but like I've just found, as a result of me eating better and feeling better, I'm just able to give more. I don't have to think about feeling like sluggish or bloated or whatever. And it just allows me to be so much more in my everyday life. So I think all of those things just really boost my mood. It's no secret that like working out and eating well is good for your emotions and your hormones and all that stuff. And I've just found it's been really important because my first year of business, I was like working all the time. I wasn't working out. I wasn't doing anything. And I felt like not great. Like I really didn't feel good. And I found like as a result of doing that, I have so much more energy and focus in my business. I'm able to be so much more productive. I'm like a person who I can be known to like multitask and procrastinate and perfectionist procrastination. But there's something about since I've been like consistently eating well and working out, I have so much more energy in my business. And then I do a lot of like journaling. I go on these rampages like I am, and I'll just, I'll write like 40 things down. Like I am confident, I am successful, I am, taking my sister to Japan. I am doing, I'll just like kind of have fun with that. And I just find I feel like I'm in such a good mood. I just have so much to give from that place. So all that stuff. And then I'm really into self-care and like winding down at night. I feel like that's a really important thing to do for yourself as well. Like allow yourself to have free time, allow yourself time to enjoy your life at the end of the day. And I know when you're working and building a business and doing all that stuff, it can be hard to maybe fit these things in. But I just find like I would write out what gives me energy, what makes me feel good. And I write down like 5 to 10 things. And then that's my plan for the year. I'm like, I'm going to do more of this stuff. What are the things that drain me and make me feel bad? Write that stuff down. I'm doing less of these things. And again, it's like having those written lists in front of you. It just makes it really easy. And you're like, oh, I'm going to say no next time someone asks me to like go to the 20th baby shower of the year. I'll send the gift and like, I'm not going to, I don't want to do things like this anymore. Like I love my friends, I love their babies, but sometimes like if you feel like you're giving too much of yourself to something that isn't really in line with building your business. And I know for a lot of people like, oh, I'm so busy. I've got to be at family dinners. I've got to be at this. Sometimes you got to say no to things so that you can do what you really want to do and make the time and space for that. So you kind of have to be like relentless with your energy. And so I do this year, especially I've noticed like saying no to the things that are toxic to me and saying yes to the things that energize me has just made so much of a difference in my life and my business. So
that's my advice. And I especially think like, I don't know why, maybe I'm just the only person that's noticed this, but I feel like when people go from a 9-to-5 job to being an entrepreneur, it's like, it's really a whole new way of thinking. It's a whole new way of being. And when you are in a 9-to-5 job, you kind of are used to like, I don't know, that lifestyle. So you do have more of this pressure to like go to family things and go to random birthday parties. And it's like, that's just what people do, I guess. I don't really know. And so you have to kind of totally switch it.
Oh yeah. Like I really had to train myself. It's been difficult. Like it's been such a learning. But I really just started thinking about, okay, how do I want my day to be? And how do I want, how do I really want to live? Like, let's just skip to the end and do that now. Doing things like I'm only seeing clients on, 2 days a week between this time and this time. I always take Mondays off so that I can set my week up. Like I don't make any appointments on Mondays with nobody. Like we can't do it. It's my time to get set up for the week. And yeah, I don't meet with people for coffee. I don't meet with people for lunch throughout the week, the days that I'm working, because it just totally throws me off. So yeah, like even though I don't have a normal job, I can't meet you for lunch. It's like a waste of my time. It's a waste of everyone's time. So yeah, I think and you have to kind of feel your way into that. And some people do really well with like, oh, I can go to like 3 appointments a day and then see a client and then do this and that. I'm not that person. So I think one of the things that has made me successful, I think, is like, I always say it's like being decisive, like deciding fast, being relentless, like going after things, and then being really self-knowing, like really self-aware, really knowing what works for me and just accepting it and like being honest about it. Like, yeah, no coffee meetings. I can't meet you for coffee. That might be bitchy to some people or whatever, but I just can't. So and that only comes with knowing yourself.
Yeah, and not apologizing for it. Like owning what it is. I love that advice. Okay, I have one very last question for you, and I did not plan on asking you this. I don't even know why I am, but it's something I've been thinking of, so I just want to hear your take on it. So I've been reading The Power of Now, and I love it. I'm sure you've read it, but it's just all about how a lot of our fears and worries and stress comes from projections of the past, projections society gives us, things that have absolutely nothing to do with the present most of the time. Mm-hmm. So how do you balance learning from your past mistakes with not letting them stop you from moving forward? Because I know, like, especially in business, especially when you're an entrepreneur and everything's kind of your one-man show, you can really talk yourself out of moving forward because something didn't go well last time. But at the same time, you don't want to be foolish and make the same mistake over and over if, it just didn't work out. And have you ever, maybe it's just me that is experiencing that, but have you dealt with that?
No, totally. Because it's like, yeah, you're trying to learn and be smart, but also be in the moment and move forward. Right. Yeah, I try to be like, something I try to practice is like, I guess what Abraham, if you're familiar with, would call like a chronic unattachment. Like I try not to get like emotionally invested in my past mistakes. I'm like curious, like, oh, that worked. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, that's good. Like, and I try to really separate myself from it. And then I think, like, again, it kind of all goes back to the love or fear thing. And I try not to time travel too much, like what you're saying, like we're thinking about the past or thinking about the future, whatever. I just try to go with like what feels good in this moment. What is love? What is fear? Love is always the answer, like really and truly. Every business decision I make, like what is out of love? What is out of fear? And like, I just try to live by that. And I find that really keeps me in the moment. And then I try to just, in the same way, like we're meant to practice meditation so that we can, be like quiet our mind. I try to do things every day that help me practice being in the moment. And it's something like playing with my dog or doing something physical. Like my husband and I will go out and like play Frisbee in the middle of the afternoon. Cause it's just like this playfulness. Because when you're a child, you're always in the moment having fun. So I try to practice and do things that get me in the moment. And then I find I'm able to just be in that place. And every day, also one thing I do every single day, and this is actually a really good practice. If you have 5-minute journal, actually I have mine in front of me, like this 5-minute journal. One of the things they ask at the end is, how could I have made today even better? And so it's a good chance to like kind of reflect on the things that didn't go so great. And I'll actually rewrite them as if I did it the way I wish I did it or whatever. Yeah. And I feel like that it almost allows you to like rewrite history. So you're not like holding on to it. And then you know how to deal with it better in the future. So I try to do like a combination of all of those things. And then if you're really holding on to something, and like, I still hold on to stuff. I'm not perfect. Like I still hold on to mistakes sometimes. I love tapping, like EFT or whatever. I love Google. Yeah. On YouTube, there's Brad Yates. He's so amazing. Like, go tap with Brad. My husband and I tap with Brad every night before bed. It's another thing.
Amazing.
Yeah, he's just so like, just love Brad. If you don't know him, guys, go on YouTube, search Brad Yates. He's got tapping scripts for everything from like forgiving yourself for like a traumatic experience to I'm annoyed that my dog is shedding. Like he's got everything on there. So I do a lot of that because some of those things are really, it's hard to let go of, or we really have those things inside of us. So I see like lots of like healers and stuff like that too. I'm all about that. And I find like that stuff's helpful as well. I throw anything at it. If there's anything that is going to help you to let go of something, like I do that stuff all the time. So I have all these like little practices and people I see and like burning new moon rituals, like all that stuff. I'll do anything to let go of some baggage. So
that's great. And those are all good tips. And I really love your tip about like playing with your dog or doing something physical with your husband, because I find that I do best in business when I think of it more as like a game. What can I learn? What can I explore? What can I create? Yeah. And, you know, of course, there are moments where you're like, but my rent. And
my rent, yeah.
So it's really hard to balance. So whatever you can do to like, you know, subtly get you in that frame of mind, I think is a great way to look at it.
Totally. And it's just like back to basics. Like what did you like doing when you were a kid? Like do more of those things, because you really do feel in the moment, like whether it's coloring. I think that's why adult coloring books are like so big, because it's just like, you're just really in the moment.
Yeah. That's like one of the things I talk about the most in my own journey, is that like I live in New York City, and it was always my dream my whole life to live here. And I've lived here for almost 8 years now. And like growing up, I had a mural of the Manhattan skyline on my wall. I'm from Colorado. And I always say that it was like my first vision board.
Totally.
I had no idea. And, you know, now it's like my view. And then it's just like, what other parts of my life did I dismiss that I really wanted to be when I grew up, and now I'm not? And how can I do that again? So I love thinking of it in that childlike way.
Well, it is cool and I think it's like you get the things that you're not super attached to. Like, I'm sure you had that. Like, I know you wanted to live in New York City and you had that mural on your wall, but you're not like sitting there like, oh, when is it going to happen? Like, when, why? It's almost just like, oh yeah, it's something you just kind of set, and then you get used to it, and it kind of becomes normal that like the New York skyline is on your wall, and now it's on your wall still, like out your window. And it's just like,
I didn't stress about it because I just knew it was going to happen, and I focused on other things.
Totally, exactly. And I think that's like the secret. That's the secret, guys. Just know what you want, focus on other things to make your life nice, and like keep moving towards that stuff.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much, Sofie. For everyone watching on Facebook, I'm going to put her website and her Instagram and her YouTube, her hilarious YouTube below, so you all can reach her there. And thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Thanks so much for having me, Leah. It's been really fun.
It has been awesome. Okay, I'm going to end this broadcast.
Okay, bye guys.